not. It is my opponent's campaign is a campaign of misinformation, disinformation, and also a campaign of character assassination. You know, they have no message and they have no record to campaign on. So it's almost mimicking what is happening nationally. In other words, what Bawumia is doing to Mahama and what they did to him in 2016, prior to 2016 election. You know, they had all kinds of unprintable things about him. Every time Bawumia had an opportunity to say something, he would make fun of Mahama and mock him, call him corrupt, call him Malam John. And it was like they had actually part of their campaign strategy.
So what do they call you?
Oh, they're calling me all kinds of names. The last time I heard, they said I killed my mother. I beat my mother and killed her.
Oh.
My mother died in 2010. I was not even in the country. You understand?
Oh.
My mother has died since 2010. I was out of the country. I came to my mother's funeral. My mother was one of my favorite people in this world. She was a very strong woman.
Where did you hear that from?
That's the campaign they're doing now. They have nothing to campaign on.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a campaign of serious character assassinations. That's all they're doing, you know. And I think that the strategy is that hopefully they will say bad things about me enough, and then it will cause disaffection for me. Because he really has no track record. He cannot come to Esikado Ketan and say that, oh, I have provided these amount of boreholes for my people. He cannot come there and say, I have provided, I built roads. He can't come there and say, I have done this for the school children. He can't come there and say that I have built taxi stations, like sheds for taxi stations as I have.
Is that to say that he's never done those projects for... He's been there for quite...
Yes, so we've never seen him before.
I dare call him one of the Mugabes of Parliament, maybe.
Who?
It's the MP?
No, the MP is not running again. I'm talking about the new person coming who has been the regional secretary, quote unquote, and so has zero record to speak of. So now,
but that reminds me, but he can campaign on the back of the former MP.
But you're only campaigning on the back of the former MP when you have a track record to go by. So there's no track record, there's no legacy. So now it is purely, especially when you're a woman and they try to portray you like maybe you're unstable, or when they say stuff like that, they think that it will stick. And so I can empathize with Naa Koryoo, what she's going through. But unfortunately for her, it's actually coming from another woman. And that is what even makes it more sad. And for me, it hurts the most. You remember this Naa Koryoo issue that her gun, first of all, was not even on her body. The gun was found in a car, in a vehicle, quote unquote, with her driver and apparently her security. She never shot the gun. The gun was not even found at a registration center, right? So for what reasons did the security forces have to even search her vehicle?
So the gun was not fired?
No, it was not fired. It was not on her body. It was found in her vehicle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the question is, on what authority do they even have to search somebody's vehicle without really, you have to have a reason to stop and search a car.
Intelligence.
Well, intelligence on what? If somebody has a duly registered a gun, and it is where it's supposed to be in her car, and she's not touched it, she hasn't shot it. What intelligence? I don't get what intelligence would do. This is the same constituency where the current MP has actually brought a gun to a registration center and shot the gun and wounded people. People were running, people were traumatized, people had orthopedic injuries, they were broken limbs, people had cuts on them. And it was very chaotic that day. But up till now, there has not been any investigations, and she was never called to the police station and was never detained. So what I see in Naa Koryyoo's situation is that I think it's an attempt to suppress her views. It's an attempt to intimidate her. It's an attempt to make her afraid, so that she can maybe sit back and allow this woman who has proven track record of being like a thug to take over that constituency. But I'm also encouraged that the people of her constituency will look at who she is. She's a young woman who is determined to come and help her people. And I'm sure that the constituents will see that. They will see the good in her. They see what she's bringing to the table. And they will see that she's also going to encourage more young women to come into politics, and people like me who are traditionally not politicians to come into the political field and really come and serve our people rather than coming into the politics to take whatever it is we take from the people. So I empathize. I'm sorry she had to go through that, but I'm also glad that she stood her ground. I'm also glad that she has made her case, and I'm also glad that the people are supporting her. I'm also encouraged that she will win this election come December 7th, 2024, and then she will show the young girls in her constituency that you don't have to be a thug, you don't have to misbehave, you don't have to shoot people in registration centers to become an MP and to really care about the constituency. So I'm happy. I'm not happy for her, but I'm glad that she has done what she has done. And we pray that this woman who has a proven track record of being disorderly and of shooting people at registration centers will lay off of this young girl and make sure that she and the security forces will make sure that she's protected, and that we will see her through a very successful election.
So this is how the Ghanaian Times captured the Wutusinya East constituency. NDC-PC granted bail over gun possession without authority. The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for the Wutusinya East constituency, Phyllis Naa Koryoo Okuno, was over the weekend granted bail by the police after she was arrested for alleged transfer of firearms without authority. She was arrested together with 2 others last Friday at the Electoral Commission office at Ofanko near Kaswa in the Wutusinya East municipality in the central region, but was transferred to Accra and held in the police custody overnight at the Cantonment Police Station, Accra. The NDC-PC arrest drew condemnation from her constituents and supporters. Former President John Dramani Mahama and flag bearer of the NDC for the 2024 elections, and the NDC leading members of the party, including John Ayensu-Danquah, Ketia, National Chairman, blah, 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 goes on to say that the NDC members and supporters masked up women's position where Ms. Okono was demanded her immediate release. So the police service had since denied the allegations made by Ayensu-Danquah, Ketia, described as a false and without any basis. The report that the firearm she had, even though it was registered, the registration name did not match the firearm, and that had to do with the spelling of some name, which your people thought, I mean, how?
That is exactly, I agree with my people. I mean, really, how? It's just a syllable, like an L, where Phyllis is like double L, and she only had, the person who actually gave her the permit actually misspelled the name. So how is that an indictment on someone when the rest of the names are the same, when she actually must have used her own documentation to obtain that firearm? She said,
but you know, it can also be a case. You might see it as that unimportant, but it can be a case. If your name is spelled with a double L and you're registering a firearm, you must have, I know the rigorous process people go through to register a firearm. So you will also have to double check. Once your registration documents are handed over to you, make sure everything is correct. If you leave it like that, one day you might face a similar problem.
I think that we are digressing. The issue at hand is that we have a certain MP who has actually brought a firearm to a registration center and has actually shot that firearm. There was no investigation.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to her. She was not detained. This young lady had the gun in the car, in the vehicle.
Yeah.
She never was holding the firearm. She never fired it. The gun was not even at a registration center. It was far away from a registration center. So what are we talking about?
The point I'm making is that you are making a point of comparison where a sitting MP carried out an action which you expected that she would be in the hands of the law. In fact, we all expected that. But that didn't happen. In this case, upon intelligence, they pick up the firearm in her car. It's not an accusation of you fired it or you didn't fire it. We pick up a firearm from your car. We want to check if it's registered. We check the registration, you say it's yours. And we're saying that, well, the name spelling is different from your name.
Annie, my name is Grace Ayensu-Danquah. Some people spell it with the D-A-N-Q-U-A-H, which is the right spelling. Most people spell it D-A-N-K-W-A. That is correct. It's still Grace Ayensu-Danquah. It is the different maybe accents or the different tribalistic pronunciations of the same version or different iteration of the same name. It doesn't make me a criminal if somebody misspelled my name and I forgot to even double check. It is the same Grace Ayensu-Danquah. Danquah has different spellings in different parts of the country. So I don't get what this argument is about. There is no issue here. There is no case. She never fired the firearm. She also told us that she uses it for self-protection.
Yeah.
This is a woman who has been terrorizing this young woman for years. And this young woman got a firearm, registered it, duly registered it, and is using it for personal protection. There is nothing wrong with it. I think she needs to protect herself, especially since during the last incident, the security forces did not protect her.
Yeah.
The police did not protect her. And I'm afraid that at some point she had to, she felt it necessary to have to protect herself. So I think it's a non-issue. I think it's just a way to intimidate her. I think it's a way to cower her into submission and so that she can let go of this constituency. But I'm so glad that the people of her constituency would never allow this to happen. Right. What this woman has done in the past is egregious. What this woman has done in the past is unprecedented. What this woman has done, I mean the sitting MP has done, is unconscionable. And we have to call her out for what she is, just a street thug.
Right.